Did you know that right now, mechanics and dealerships are hoping you'll pay hundreds or thousands for car problems? Many of these could be fixed with simple 60-second reset procedures. You're probably overpaying for car repairs, and it's not really your fault. Here's what's happening. They have gotten really good at making sure you pay too much for problems that could be fixed with simple reset procedures. But there are key ways to beat expensive repair bills at their own game, and I've used all of them to save over $15,000 on car repairs, which has enabled me and my family to keep our vehicles running like new for years longer than expected. So in this video, I'm going to break down 13 easy and totally legit car reset tricks that mechanics do not want you to know about. And trick number 1 is seriously like a real-life cheat code. Be sure to watch until the end, because I am revealing the most powerful reset that works on nearly every car made after 1996. Let's kick things off with the 13th trick, which is the steering angle sensor reset. Here is what happens. A lot of people disconnect their car battery for routine maintenance, and suddenly, they get warning lights and power steering that stops working. Most drivers panic and rush to the dealership, where they are charged hundreds of dollars for what is described as a complex steering system failure affecting safety systems. But what I do, and what I want you to do, is stop that right now. In reality, you are dealing with a steering angle sensor that has lost its calibration. This sensor, sometimes called the clock spring, tracks your steering wheel position and feeds that data to systems like electronic power steering, stability control, anti-lock braking, tire pressure monitoring, and advanced driver assistance. When you disconnect the battery, the sensor loses its reference point, and it looks like you have cascading failures in expensive systems. Resetting this sensor varies by car. Most manufacturers want you to use a professional diagnostic tool such as VCDS for Volkswagen Audi Group or ISTA for BMW, which can cost about $300. However, on some cars, you can try a manual reset. Turn the steering wheel fully left, then fully right, then back to center with the ignition on, but engine off. The wheel has to be perfectly centered for this to work. A Skoda owner went through this after a battery swap. The steering angle sensor got thrown off, which disabled power steering assist, stability control, triggered false tire pressure warnings, and put the anti-lock brakes in fault mode. Without proper calibration, the car was unsafe to drive, with hard steering, no electronic safety, and a real risk of skidding or rollover. Professional calibration usually costs between $150 and $400, depending on your area and equipment. Driving with uncalibrated systems is a real risk, not just for accidents, but also for voided insurance if a system fault contributes to a crash. What most people do not realize is that this reset is especially critical in European cars with advanced driver assistance, because steering angle data feeds into everything from lane departure warning to adaptive cruise control and emergency braking. Now, moving to our 12th trick, the window auto function reset. Many car owners disconnect their battery or have electrical work done, only to find their automatic window controls stop working. The windows might go down but not up, the one-touch feature is gone, or the window stops halfway. Most people assume this means expensive electrical diagnosis, a new window motor, or a full regulator replacement, costing $300 to $800 per window. However, it is almost always a simple calibration issue. The Windows auto function memory, stored in the body control module, needs to relearn the full travel range, upper and lower limits, and current draw patterns, especially for pinch protection. If the memory is wiped, the system loses track of the window's position. The universal reset is simple. Hold the window switch all the way down for 5 seconds after the window hits bottom, then all the way up for 5 seconds after it reaches the top. That recalibrates the memory and restores automatic function. Some cars want this done with ignition on, others with the engine running. A 2018 Subaru WRX owner found that after a battery replacement, all 4 windows lost their auto function. Each window needed that 5-second down, 5-second up reset, and the front windows needed an extra 10 seconds holding the switch up to program anti-pinch. Subarus are especially sensitive because their system constantly monitors window motor current and position, and all that is lost during a battery disconnect. BMWs and Mercedes might need you to press and hold both window switches at once, or do the reset with doors open to prevent sensor interference. Knowing this trick can save you $75 to $150 for diagnosis, plus another $100 or $200 for labor to perform the reset you can do yourself in minutes. Now let's talk about our 11th trick, battery registration after replacement. Let's say you just installed a new battery in your modern car, and now you are seeing electrical issues, warning lights, or your start-stop system is not working. How do you know if your car needs battery registration, and what happens if you skip this step? Modern cars with intelligent battery sensors and advanced battery management need a programming procedure called battery registration after a new 12-volt battery. This tells the car's electrical system the new battery's specs, such as capacity, chemistry, cold cranking amps, and lifespan, so the charging system can adjust. BMW, Mini, Volkswagen, Audi, and more require this. Battery registration matters because today's cars have massive electrical loads, heated seats, infotainment, LED lighting, electric steering, all running at once. Start-stop cycles the engine hundreds of times, so the car needs precise voltage regulation and charge monitoring. A 2019 BMW 320i owner replaced their battery with a premium AGM unit for $180, but skipped registration. Within a week, start-stop shut off, warning lights came on, and the battery failed in 8 months instead of lasting 4 to 5 years. The warranty did not cover it because registration was skipped, so they paid another $220 for a new battery, plus $150 in diagnostics and $85 for programming. Professional registration needs special tools such as BMW ISTA, Volkswagen VCDS, or something like Autel Maxus. Yes, it costs $50 to $150, but it saves you from burning through batteries every 18 to 24 months, damaging your electrical system, or losing start-stop functionality that can improve fuel economy by 8 to 15%. Now moving on, our 10th trick is the oil service light reset. Even after you have changed your oil, your dashboard might keep nagging you with maintenance reminders. Most people ignore these lights, risking engine damage, or pay $20 to $75 at the dealership to reset them, not realizing they could do it in under a minute. Service reminders are based on mileage or time, alerting you to oil changes, air filters, tire rotations, and major services. Japanese cars like Toyota, Lexus, and Honda are especially known for this, usually triggering around 4,500 miles and staying on until reset. Resetting these lights can be quirky, and every manufacturer is different. For Toyota and Lexus, you usually hold the trip meter button while turning the ignition to on. Keep holding until the service light flashes, then release and press again until it is off. A 2017 Toyota Camry owner learned the full reset. Ignition to on. Press odometer reset until trip A shows. Turn ignition off. Hold the reset button while turning ignition back on. Hold for 10 seconds until the light flashes, then release and press again until it is gone. There are also OBD2 tools and apps like Carista, Carly, and OBD Auto Doctor that can reset reminders for about $20 a year. Most garages reset reminders after maintenance, but you can do it yourself with the right sequence. A Honda Civic owner was frustrated when their garage skipped the reset after a full oil change. That persistent light caused anxiety until they found the button sequence and cleared it themselves, saving future service fees and worry. Dealerships charge $20 to $75 just to reset lights after you have already paid for maintenance. Quick lube places might offer free resets, but often do not know the right procedure for every brand, especially European imports. Now, let's talk about our 9th trick, the Immobilizer anti-theft reset. Maybe your car will not start, the security light is flashing, but you have not lost your keys or messed with the ignition. Mechanics might charge $300 to $800 to fix what could be a simple electronic glitch. The Immobilizer reset is what pros call a hard reboot of your car's security system. The Immobilizer prevents the engine from starting unless it gets the right coded signal from your key or fob. Sometimes a glitch can block starting even if your key is fine. A 2013 Mini Cooper owner had a no-start issue with security lights and was quoted $650 for Immobilizer diagnosis and possible replacement. A smart mechanic suggested disconnecting the battery and connecting the battery cables together for 1 to 2 minutes to fully drain the capacitors and reset the ECU and security modules without wiping the security programming. It worked perfectly, restoring normal starting and saving a huge repair bill. The cable connecting step is optional and just speeds up the discharge. A 30 to 40-minute battery disconnect does the same thing. A BMW E30 owner had intermittent immobilizer faults, needing extended battery disconnection and key cycling to clear the system memory and get everything talking again. Professional immobilizer diagnostics cost $150 to $400, with repairs like module replacement at $400 to $800, key programming at $100 to $250 per key, or full system reprogramming at $300 to $600. This simple reset is a valuable first step that might save you all that money. Now for our 8th trick, which is cleaning and resetting the idle air control valve. This is a common cause of rough idle, stalling, and bad fuel economy, and it is often fixed with a simple cleaning instead of a $200 to $650 replacement. The idle air control valve manages air bypassing the throttle plate to keep idle stable, usually between 500 and 1,000 RPM. Over time, carbon and dirt from PCV vapors, EGR deposits, or fuel additives can make the valve stick. Symptoms are familiar: fluctuating idle, engine vibration, stalling, especially with air conditioning on, misfires, sluggish acceleration, bad fuel economy, and check engine codes like P0505, P0506, or P0507. A 2005 Honda Accord owner got a P2176 code and was quoted $350 for a throttle body replacement. After some research, they pulled the idle air control valve, found it caked with carbon, cleaned it with carb cleaner, did the reset, and fixed the issue, saving the entire replacement cost. Professional IAC valve replacement runs $200 to $500. Cleaning costs $8 to $15 for the cleaner and maybe an hour of your time. Now, for our 7th trick, let's talk about the EFI fuse pull reset. Most people think resetting the car's computer means disconnecting the battery, which wipes out radio presets, clock settings, seat memory, and more, all of which are a pain to reprogram. Plus, some modern cars with complex electrical systems can develop errors or require professional reprogramming after a full power loss. The EFI fuse pull method is a smarter way. Remove the engine control or powertrain control module fuse for 10 to 20 seconds to reset the engine management system without touching other electronics. This targets just the subsystems that need a reset, such as fuel injection, ignition, idle air, and emissions, without losing your settings. Find the EFI fuse in your fuse box, usually under the hood, sometimes inside. Use the diagram to get the right fuse, since mix-ups can happen. Pull it out for 5 to 10 minutes, then pop it back in. Honda Insight owners use fuse 16 to clear the check engine light without losing radio presets if it is reinserted within 30 seconds. Prius owners have used this trick to reset hybrid system parameters and restore battery charging without losing navigation or radio settings. This method clears adaptive fuel trims and lets the control system recalibrate for better efficiency and performance. Now, our 6th trick is all about the mass airflow sensor, and this one can save you from spending hundreds of dollars unnecessarily. Imagine your fuel economy drops from 25 to 18 miles per gallon, your idle gets rough, you have occasional stalling, and the scan tool points to the mass airflow sensor with codes like P0171 or P0174 for a lean fuel mixture. Most people think they need a new sensor, which can run $200 to $600, but often all you need is a proper cleaning and reset that costs less than $15. The mass airflow sensor measures the amount and density of air entering your engine, which the computer uses to calculate the exact air-fuel mixture needed for performance, emissions, and efficiency. Dirt, oil residue, or carbon buildup can make the sensor send incorrect readings, causing the engine to run too lean or too rich. A BMW E36 owner was quoted $380 for a new sensor plus $120 for labor, all because of persistent lean codes and poor fuel economy. After removing the sensor and cleaning it with a $12 spray, the car immediately returned to normal operation, and fuel economy jumped back up from 22 to 28 miles per gallon. The real trick is to combine cleaning with an ECU reset, because the computer stores fuel trim adaptations to compensate for a dirty sensor. Once the sensor is clean, those corrections can actually make things worse if you do not clear them out. Volkswagen TDI diesels are especially sensitive to MAF sensor contamination, and regular cleaning every 30,000 to 50,000 miles can prevent poor performance and even turbocharger damage. Professional MAF sensor replacement can be expensive, but the cleaning approach costs just a few bucks and half an hour of your time. Next, here is something that surprises a lot of people. Our fifth trick is the throttle body reset after cleaning. If you skip this step after cleaning the throttle body, you might actually create dangerous situations. Many drivers find their car runs worse after cleaning the throttle body. The idle can shoot up to 1500 or even 2000 RPM. The car might not slow down properly, or you can get sudden surging, stalling, or even unexpected movement in reverse. These are serious safety hazards that need immediate attention. This happens because the engine control module is still using old calibration data that no longer matches the cleaned throttle body. The ECM needs to relearn the new position sensor readings and airflow characteristics. For BMW E46, you turn the ignition on for exactly 10 seconds without starting, then off for 10 seconds. Then start the engine and let it idle without touching the accelerator until the idle stabilizes. BMW E90 and E92 models need the accelerator fully pressed and held for 25 to 40 seconds while cycling the start button through different positions. A 2010 Silverado 1500 had extremely dangerous symptoms after a quick lube shop cleaned the throttle body without resetting it. Idle stayed at 1800 RPM, the car would not slow down, and it even moved backward unexpectedly in reverse. This reset is like a real cheat code for avoiding dangerous driving conditions. Never try to clean an electronic throttle body while it is installed and powered, as this can cause permanent damage. If you are getting value out of this video, I would love it if you would hit that like button. It helps YouTube suggest this to other car owners who need these tips. Thank you. Now, our fourth trick solves a problem that catches drivers completely off guard. You might have just spent $800 on new oxygen sensors and a catalytic converter to fix your check engine light, the codes are cleared, and everything seems fine, but you still fail emissions tests. The repair shop insists the work was done properly, so what gives? This next procedure is something 96% of drivers never learn about, and it is exactly why repair shops can keep charging you for testing fees and temporary permits. Drive cycles are standardized driving routines that let your car's onboard diagnostics verify that all monitored components are working correctly after a repair or code clearing. When you fix an emissions-related problem or clear codes, your car sets its readiness monitors to not ready. To complete a drive cycle, you need specific driving conditions: cold starts, highway speeds, varied loads, and the right fuel level. The system monitors 8 main emission control areas. For example, catalyst efficiency requires sustained highway driving. Oxygen sensor response needs varied loads and temperature changes. Evaporative system checks demand specific fuel levels and ambient temperatures, and exhaust gas recirculation needs long idle and acceleration periods. The whole drive cycle can take anywhere from 50 to 1500 miles, including cold starts below 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Highway speeds between 45 and 65 miles per hour for 10 to 20 minutes, controlled acceleration and deceleration, and keeping your fuel tank between 1/4 and 3/4 full. A 2017 Buick Encore owner had a loose vacuum line that caused a P0171 code. After fixing it, they failed emissions tests twice over 3 weeks because the readiness monitors were not complete, costing them extra in temporary permits and repeated testing fees. It was only after learning about drive cycles that they finally got the car to pass. Since 2009, permanent codes cannot be erased until the underlying fault is fixed and a full drive cycle is completed. This prevents shops from hiding serious problems simply by clearing codes. This reset is like a do-over button for emissions compliance. Knowing how drive cycles work can save you from expensive misunderstandings and repeated trips to the testing center. Now, our third trick is my personal favorite for restoring smooth shifting and avoiding expensive transmission repairs. It costs nothing, takes just minutes, and can make your transmission feel brand new again. This trick has prevented countless unnecessary rebuilds, replacements, and major services that can cost anywhere from $1,500 to $8,000. Modern automatics use smart transmission control modules that learn your driving habits, environmental conditions, and load patterns. These computers adjust shift timing, hydraulic pressures, torque converter lockup, and clutch engagement to keep things smooth and efficient. Over time, this adaptive data can get corrupted by voltage drops, dirty transmission fluid, sensor drift, or simply outdated learning after repairs or fluid changes. Mazda CX-5 and CX-30 owners have a manual reset sequence. Shift to manual mode at M2, then upshift through the gears at specific RPMs and throttle positions to clear all learned adaptations. One Mazda CX-5 owner with 75,000 miles had harsh downshifts and delayed engagement, symptoms that usually mean internal wear and a big repair bill. After the reset, shift quality improved dramatically, and the transmission felt like new. BMWs with ZF 6-speed and 8-speed automatics need diagnostic software like INPA or ISTA for proper adaptation resets. BMWs with GM transmissions face unique risks. These transmissions adapt to internal wear, so resetting them on a worn transmission can actually remove the compensations that prevent harsh shifting and damage. Ford DPS-6 dual-clutch transmissions, like those in the 2013 Ford Focus, often need software resets and module reprogramming, but these are usually temporary fixes for deeper mechanical issues. Using these transmission reset tricks has saved car owners thousands. But here is the thing. You need to know when to use them and when it is time for real mechanical service. Now, our second trick is all about clearing error codes after repairs, and this is where most people make a costly mistake. When the check engine light comes on, people either ignore it and hope it goes away, or they clear codes without understanding what they mean, missing a chance to catch problems early and avoid expensive breakdowns. Diagnostic codes follow standardized SAE protocols and are grouped as active codes for current faults, pending codes for issues waiting to be confirmed, stored codes for old problems, permanent codes for emissions, faults that cannot be erased until repaired, history codes for tracking patterns, and pass-fail codes for system tests. A 2016 Subaru Forester owner made the mistake of clearing 14 codes before talking to a mechanic. This erased valuable freeze-frame data that could have helped diagnose intermittent problems and electrical issues. Freeze-frame captures all the details at the moment a fault happens, including RPM, coolant temperature, speed, throttle position, fuel trim, and sensor readings. This info is gold for technicians trying to reproduce and fix issues. Some places even consider clearing emissions codes without repairs to be illegal tampering, with Clean Air Act fines up to $37,500 per violation. Now, what if you could do a comprehensive reset that addresses multiple systems at once, without all the complicated diagnostic work? My absolute favorite way to save money on car repairs, and the trick that has saved me thousands of dollars just this year, is what I used to bring several vehicles back from the brink of expensive system failures to perfect operation using nothing but basic tools and patience. Our first trick is the battery disconnect reset, and this is the fundamental technique that works on virtually every gasoline and hybrid vehicle built after 1996. This single procedure can clear corrupted computer memory across multiple vehicle systems, reset adaptive parameters that have drifted over time, eliminate persistent electronic glitches, and restore normal operation for engine management, transmission control, body electronics, emissions, and more with just one comprehensive reset. Here is how it works. Disconnecting the battery, starting with the negative terminal for safety, erases temporary memory and stored fault codes in all your car's control modules, including the engine and transmission computers, body control, anti-lock brakes, and dozens of other specialized modules. This is basically a reboot for your entire car's computer network, wiping out learned parameters and returning everything to factory baseline. To do it right, turn off the ignition and remove the key, or make sure push-button systems are fully powered down. Disconnect the negative terminal first, using insulated tools to avoid sparks or voltage spikes that could damage electronics. For a basic reset, leave the battery disconnected for at least 15 to 30 minutes. For a more thorough reset, some pros recommend leaving it off for several hours, or even overnight. For an even deeper reset, some technicians use the 10-ohm resistor method. After disconnecting the battery, they connect the positive and negative cables together through a 10-ohm power resistor for 10 to 15 minutes. This safely drains all capacitors in the system and ensures a complete reset, without the risk of voltage spikes that can happen if you connect the cables directly. A 2008 Honda Accord owner with stubborn engine issues used the 10-ohm resistor method after trying everything else, and it finally resolved persistent stalling, bad fuel economy, and rough idle that resisted professional diagnostics and parts replacements. Battery disconnect reset can fix a huge range of problems. Check engine lights that stay on after repairs, sudden drops in fuel efficiency, random misfires or stalling, sluggish acceleration, rough idle, weird transmission shifts, and all kinds of electrical bugs that show up after installing aftermarket accessories. Toyota Altis owners, for example, often see 10 to 18% better fuel economy after an overnight battery disconnect, just from clearing out old fuel trim and idle memory that had drifted from ideal settings. However, never disconnect the battery while the engine is running. That can cause dangerous voltage spikes that instantly fry your alternator, engine computer, sensors, and other electronics, sometimes causing thousands of dollars in damage. After reconnecting the battery, your car's computers will start a relearning process that can take 50 to 200 kilometers of driving. You might notice a slightly rough idle, minor hesitation, or shifting quirks at first, but these usually smooth out as the system relearns your driving style and conditions. Now, these 13 reset procedures give you the confidence to make smart decisions about your car's care, instead of just accepting whatever the shop tells you. That alone can save you thousands over the life of your vehicle. If you want to take your car's reliability even further, check out my video on the maintenance secrets that can literally help your car reach 300,000 miles and beyond. Tap it on screen now. I'll see you there. Thanks so much for watching, and safe driving.